Over this past week, we've been reporting on two cases of decades-old accusations against Catholic clergy for sexual abuse. One is from the Del Barton School in Morris Township, where 13 monks from St. Mary's Abbey were accused of abusing 30 people. Yesterday, we reported on the Diocese of Harrisburg, who just released 71 names of clergy accused of abuse, some cases going back to the 1940s. Joining me now are two attorneys involved in each of these cases. I want to introduce Greg Gianforcaro, who is the attorney for the plaintiffs in the Del Barton case. Greg, welcome to Chasing News. How are you?
How are you, Bill?
We're also joined by Matt Haverstick. He is the attorney for the diocese in Harrisburg, handling this latest round in the abuse case. Matt, welcome to Chasing News.
Thanks, Bill. Happy to be here.
Matt, let me start with you on this. The diocese released these 71 names after they lifted the gag order on this. The question I have for you, many of these cases go back to the 1940s and 50s. I mean, you've got to go way back with some of these cases. Is this reflective of the church today?
It's not. And I think there's this common misperception that the Catholic Church today still harbors abuse, still covers up. It's not true. It hasn't been true for decades. The stuff that we're talking about is historical. The Catholic Church is better than any other organization, religious, public schools, daycare centers, the Y, the Boy Scouts, in protecting young people today.
Greg, let me ask you, even in the case of Del Barton, the alleged victims that you represent, this is going back between the 60s and the 90s. Would you agree with that? Is your case about your alleged victims, or is this a greater story in terms of the Catholic Church overall?
With all due respect to counsel, there's a difference between disclosure and covering up and protecting. I understand that the church right now is taking measures to protect children. I get that. But I could tell you firsthand that they're covering up abuse. One of the issues in my case is that I am prevented from disclosing documents, information about what's happened. Yet Del Barton is indicated they're all about transparency, but I've not found that to be the case.
I'm not familiar with the discovery issues that counsel's having in the Del Barton case, but I can tell you that's not the church I've seen. I'm not Catholic. I came into this having all the same beliefs or prejudices that one might have about the Catholic Church. They're not true. They're not true. The Catholic Church doesn't hide things. There is absolutely things the church needs to apologize for that happened decades ago. It is sorry for what happened decades ago, but it was decades ago.
Greg, would you agree that you're on the right path? I mean, you've had a lot of this exposed now over the past couple of decades. Going back, you could argue that we don't have the same kind of rules in place within the public schools, within daycare centers and others, and you hear about thousands of abuse cases every year.
Oh, sure. But here's the question I have with regard to the Harrisburg Diocese. They released these 71 names. Why now, and why not 10 years ago?
So let's ask that question, Matt. Why not, Matt?
I can't say for 10 years ago. I can tell you late 2016, when the present bishop was in Harrisburg, he had determined when he got there that he was going to release a list of all the named accused. And the Attorney General's office told him not to because of the investigation. So when I got there, that bishop was already ready to release the name of every accused and was told to stand down. So 10 years ago, I can't answer that.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Matt, thank you. Appreciate your time.
You bet.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.